Yo, yo, yo. Welcome everybody to another episode of Four Corners Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Valley Uno.
And I'm your host, Miss Mai.
What's up? It's Diesel.
All right. So we getting it in today. We talking about something everybody can relate to. Family and community.
Yay.
If you don't know about that, then you probably dead somewhere or, mentally disabled or something. So anyway.
You're missing out. If you don't know about that, you're missing out.
Yeah.
So I want everybody to excuse me. I'm going to be talking through a hoarse voice today, but I'm going to still be talking. So.
Mm-hmm.
How's everybody's week been?
It's been good. Yeah, it's been good. Closed out one chapter, starting a new one tomorrow.
Good.
So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have some exciting stuff going on from work also. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's what's up.
Mine was Les Miserables.
Les Miserables.
Well, if you haven't already, everybody take a moment.
What's up, y'all? Technical difficulties over
Destinations
here.
are on as well. What's up, big sis?
What's going on with you?
What's up? Yes.
Turn everything that's using your
reminder.
Wi-Fi. Turn
Screen
everything that's using your Wi-Fi
Out for a
off.
minute.
Listen, hold on. Turn everything that's using your Wi-Fi off.
I think it's that background she got because when she had the other background, it didn't look like that.
All right.
Yeah, I think that background is giving her issues.
It's trying to load that shit up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Quick part of the show, I wanted to do an update. I see Deez is already banging on us back there with his background. So let's talk about the Sacramento Kings victory last night.
Yeah, they went out there and got it in. It was a close one, but for those of us that was able to see the game,
Damn thing.
we could see that it was a well-deserved victory. We didn't have no help from the refs. It wasn't none of the magical shit that goes on behind the curtain.
Right.
Yeah, we went out there and we took that W,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Big deal, because we know
It is a big deal.
I think it's been since 2008 was the last time Kings in the playoffs or something like that.
Been a long time.
And for those of us that are for real about it, we've been waiting on this for a real long time. So I'm happy to see it. And and I didn't get the backstory on it, but 40 water got thrown up out the stadium.
Good.
No, I didn't know that. What is the?
Well, they showed him a couple of times during the game, and he looked like he was having a hard time with what was going on the court.
Oh, I'm sure he was definitely having a hard time. So he was also in Sacramento. Was it Saturday? Signing bottles of his new alcohol as well.
Oh yeah, well that would have been yesterday. Yeah.
40 wouldn't be nothing without Sacramento. He better watch his ass.
You're right about that.
He wouldn't be nothing without Sacramento.
Yeah, because the last time I checked, Golden State is in a Vallejo team. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not.
Look.
But it is a Bay. But it is a Bay Area.
He was in his feelings about something though, and I wish I would have went and got the story on it to find out what happened.
You push that nigga into the vase like Omar Epps did Tupac on Juice.
Yeah.
It was people in the house though. Gary Payton was there, Barry Bonds was there, 50 Cent was there. It was people in the house. Yeah.
And was that game in Sacramento or was it in the Bay Area?
Yeah, it was here. It was in Sac.
Nice.
And please get 50 out of Sacramento.
They're not gonna get 50 out of Sacramento.
He's linked in with the NBA in some way, shape, form, or fashion. This ain't the first game. He's been at a lot of these Kings games. Yeah.
Well, it's because he has got a commission now for his alcohol to be the brand that's being sold at the games. So that's why he's there.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Sacramento.
Okay.
Oh,
I
wow.
wondered what it was about.
Here goes Sacramento.
Mhm.
A local nigga could come with a alcohol taste 10 times better, and ain't nobody gonna drink. I ain't drinking that shit. I ain't drinking that local ass shit.
Well, I also wanted to make mention that actually the four teams that represent California NBA all made it to the playoffs.
Yeah, I thought that was dope too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But this
Yeah,
is what
Kings,
some
the
of the
Lakers, the
backstory
Clippers,
is.
and the Warriors.
Here's what some of the backstory is on E40, apparently.
Oh, what's up, cuz? We got you in the building.
Oh, okay, that's what happened. She said he was being heckled, reported it twice. No one did shit. So when he stood up to talk his shit back, security kicked him out.
Well, it's still Sacramento, so that's
Ah!
I wonder what they was heckling him about.
That shit was funny as hell.
I have to watch that now. I got to take a look and see what happened with that.
That explained why I'm telling you, they put the camera on him a couple of times and it looked like he was somewhere else. I was like, man, don't take this ass whooping poisonally.
Right.
and don't
All
you
right,
dare
Kings. I'm happy about that.
get to
I'm
whooping
happy
no
that the
shit on
Kings won.
Sacramento either.
Yeah.
Don't do that, E40.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So yeah, I'm excited about that, you know, and just basing off of what I seen last night, I think they want it bad enough to where they gonna sit these Warriors down. That's what it looked like to me.
Well, and the thing about it is, they're hungry and they've made it this far. They didn't come to lose, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are your picks? Do you think that we'll be able to pull it off based off of the first game?
Well,
Do
we
you
one
think it's
game up.
beginner's luck? What are you guys' bet?
Oh no, that's what I meant when I said it ain't no luck. Like the next time they play, make sure you catch the game. Is all I'm gonna tell you. Once you see how they out there on the squad is coming together on the court, they're coming for that. They're like, no, it wasn't no beginner's luck. No, we supposed to be here, you know. So yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm happy about that.
Look at the treasonous, traitorous Golden State Warrior fan telling us to relax. You need to come on back home, bruh. Okay.
It seems we have a Warriors fan in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's gonna be exciting to see all that unfold, no doubt. Yeah.
Very exciting that the Kings have made it this far and that they pulled off the first game. I mean, it's only up from there.
Mm-hmm. One of them mics got to go off.
It looks like there's two different things going on with her right now.
Yes, yeah. She hard headed. She got to have that background in there, and I think that's what's causing the problem.
I think it is too.
Straight when she had the other one up. But yeah, them Kings. Let's go, Kings. Light the beam.
Light the beam.
Yeah,
I'll be watching, and it's going to be interesting to see. I at least want it to be a good match, so I hope they go all 7
I'm
games.
trying to
take it down to the wire so that we're sitting on the edge of our seats. Even if they don't make it, I'm still proud they made it this far. But I want them to take it all the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm voting for the Kings.
I'm not even thinking
along Sacramento, California, baby. Of course, I'm voting for the Kings.
Yeah, I'm not thinking along them lines that if they don't, you know, because we didn't seen that enough times, you know.
Right.
Go get that. It's time to go get it this time. You know, and it looks like that's the mindset they have by watching them play. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think Doug Christie's working out for him. I know he's only the assistant coach, but he has a lot of history in Sacramento, so it's good to see that he's on the, on the coaching team. Speaking from experience with them, it seems to be working.
Yeah, because he was there through them playoff runs in the early 2000s.
Yes, he was.
So he can at least speak to the experience of it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. V Mactown. He's real. Let's go, baby. Oh man. Yeah. So we had touched on this before, but I think it's only fair to circle back and at least comment on the Shanquella Robinson thing, and that that the U.S. authorities have decided not to pursue any criminal charges in relation to her death that took place in Mexico, which is crazy to me. I know we don't got all the facts, but I just would have expected that there would have been something a little more done than, hey, we looked at this and we see that you guys was with her and then nobody else was, and then she turned up dead. But hey, cool, go live the rest of your life. I just think that's crazy.
I think that's very crazy. I understand that the crime took place in Mexico, but once the FBI was involved, let's be clear, these people, if we think about it, how did the video surface in the first place? Where did the video come from?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Somebody in the hotel room.
Right.
It wasn't a fucking bystander.
No fucking kidding, bro. And that's my point. So this is how brazen the crime is. They released the video for the family to have to see, friends and loved ones to have to watch this girl getting beat, not fighting back. We don't know why she didn't fight back. I mean, and even if she would have, it was 6 of them and it was one of her. So how much good would it have really did? But at least go out with a bang.
But from the video, it was a one-on-one ass whooping. What I seen in the video, it might have been
several people.
It might have been other people present, but
Well, a couple of the people took turns. She fought multiple different people, is what my understanding.
According to the video footage, or according to what people said.
Now the video footage that I seen her fighting one specific girl, like you said, but I thought it was my understanding that she fought several people there. There's an extra.
Well, either way it goes, she was butthole naked,
right,
and didn't stand a chance from what we seen in the video. She just basically got snuffed out.
In which that's some cold ass shit right there.
It was a very unfortunate situation. I don't.
Her family's not going to get any justice. That's so crazy.
So sad. And the people actually, the friends or so-called friends, came back to the States and went and sat and looked at her parents and pretended to care.
Yeah.
And then the video footage dropped, and they stopped coming around and let it be known the coroner's report. And I didn't do a presentation, but I did have a peek at the coroner's report. And the coroner's report, the cause of death was a severed spinal cord and asphyxiation. So,
well, see, but that's according to the one from Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. The U.S. coroner report, it said the cause of death was undetermined. But you got to think of the amount of time that passed in between those two autopsies, though. So it was a significant amount of time that passed before the U.S. was even able to get access to the body and perform an autopsy. So they were never going to be able to. They might have found them injuries, but they weren't going to be able to pinpoint nothing because, I mean, come on now, it's been decaying for weeks on end before they even seen it. Yeah.
I mean, it's very sad. My heart goes out to the family because, they're never going to see any justice where this is concerned.
And the cool part about it is how could they just go and do that girl like that? What was going on in their heads? Hatred that much.
That's the energy that permeates society these days. Go hard on people, regardless of how small the issue is. Because I mean, what could have really been going on that she needed to get stripped naked, or maybe they caught her coming out of the shower. I don't know how it went, but nonetheless, though, what could have really taken place for you to be that ferocious with somebody? You know, y'all couldn't just square off and take a fade. You know,
I mean, that was the thing. It was no fade
Well,
because she wasn't fighting back.
They intended to go down there and kill the girl.
I believe so too. I
No,
believe so.
there's no way because I mean, why not just shoot her or something like that if that's what they're planning on doing?
Well, it was definitely calculated.
And why record it if you're planning on killing her?
Yeah, I don't think it was planned either. For those reasons, why would you record a planned homicide?
Okay, but if it wasn't, then once you knew she died, like I said, brings me back to where did this video surface from? I was wondering if the Airbnb host or the actual facility where it was at, I didn't know if it was a resort or if it was not, if footage came from maybe possibly inside of there, but
That's against law.
I remember seeing you could tell it was coming from somebody holding the phone.
okay.
Yeah.
It was clearly somebody right there.
Yeah.
They were recording whooping her ass.
Because that's what society does now. Is they record.
Very sad.
And I'm gonna tell you the thing that bothered me. Look, we can't afford to let our kids believe that this is some kind of peaceful world where I just want to have peace. I didn't see that girl defending herself. That bothered me more than the ass whooping. Okay, that's enough. Like, she was willing to just look, man, your life is on the line. You want to live or not, you know?
Right. So I guess the message you're trying to get out is that
fuck peace.
Gouge somebody's motherfucking eyes out with a
bite their nose off, gouge their eyes out.
Yeah.
By any means necessary.
Fight for your life. Fight for your life.
Yeah, for real though. You know, at least try to survive a situation if you find yourself in one. You know, by force.
Again, I don't. Even if you're not a fighter, you still got to give it your best shot because they're coming at you full fledged. That girl wasn't practicing. She was giving it all she got. So you got to fight.
It's easy for these girls to get their neck broke because the way that women fight, they just go all hair, and it's such a
that's probably how that happened.
It's such a hair jerking experience when women fight. So a broken neck would be a very common injury.
So you think like pulling of the hair, the pulling back like that?
Well, it's the pulling it forward, and like if you seen they be getting, you know, they be getting their head turned, you know, all this way and that. So I could see how that would cause some neck injuries.
That's awful.
That's what happened.
Yeah. So with that being said, I don't know. I don't know. I just, like I said, I think it's important for everybody to understand that you need to, part of bringing your children up is helping them to have a clear understanding that if you find yourself in a place where you need to defend your life, that you do it with extreme ferociousness. You know, you don't never let nobody do you like that.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in closing that story out, we, you know, send our condolences to the family, and
Absolutely.
It's a sad situation.
Yeah.
But what's cold is that's not an isolated incident. There's been other incidents where one of a friend goes off and kills but usually it's more than just one. But it's not an isolated incident, and it's just because of the way the world is right now. These kids don't even know how to deal with their emotions. You know, it's jacked up.
Well, yeah, we know this kind of stuff goes on, and not all of it get publicized or get, you know, any sort of media attention or whatever. But you know, like I said, I think that's a part of the energy that exists in society right now. People just think it's, oh, okay, we're gonna do this and we're gonna be the top dogs on how we put this person down or lay them out and this all, you know what I mean? It's part of the energy that's surrounding the world we live in right now.
Kind of brings us into our topic of community service, somewhat different things that are going on in the communities that we live in.
Mhm.
Why is this such a fad for there to be these type of situations and friendships that don't really exist? Maybe it's a sign of the communities that we live in. How can we be of service, and how can community service help things like that?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think pretty much every city in this country has some sort of community outreach, community service program that's at work, and if that's something that you want to do as an individual, there's avenues for you to reach out and research those things and get involved at any level. It doesn't matter what it is. You know, if this particular organization is helping out young people in the community and you don't feel you're ready to get your feet wet with that, but they also do food drives or food giveaways, you can pull up and help with that, you know, and that'll give you opportunity to rub elbows with some of the people in the organization and figure out where you fit in so you can make your own contribution as well.
Yeah, it takes everybody, and that's the thing. Everybody just if everyone does a little bit, it'll make a huge impact.
Mm-hmm.
So I like what you said about if you're not ready to help with, you know, the youth, or if find what fits your circumstance, find where you feel like you would be of benefit. And
you can volunteer for different.
A food drive is a good place, like you said, not just donating food, but feeding the homeless, actually getting out there and being able to take a look at what's going on. That's important too.
Yeah, you can find that information out on 211 for the volunteer service programs.
Okay. That's locally, I'm assuming, or is that?
Yeah, that's Sacramento local. I don't know if that's worldwide local.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, excuse me. I don't know, you know, to me, that's something that it just has a place in my heart to try to be involved in the community in some way, shape, or fashion, because you look at people and their experiences, and in some way or another, we can relate to that. You know what I mean? Sometimes we looking at, we looking at the youth, we might see them going through something that we went through at some point in time and want to try to give back in a way through our knowledge, insight, or experience. Excuse me.
I was going to say too that even if you don't find an organization to get involved in, just being a part of the youth that you interact with, whether it be various family members, whether it would be your friends' kids or people who you come across, your neighbor, if you can offer a piece of advice, words of encouragement, if you've seen them with some clothes that look like they could use a little help, donate some hand-me-down. You know, there's several different ways to be of service.
Yes. And believe you wouldn't realize how much it would help build up a kid's self-esteem if they had something that you don't think it's good for you anymore, but they don't have that, and then they get it, they feel a whole lot better about themselves.
Right. Or even like bicycles, you know, kids, you know, nobody really thinks about it. When we grew up, we all rode bikes, but for a kid who don't have a car, or a kid don't have a way to get around, even a bike, you know, giving somebody a bike that nobody uses, or just different things like that. Those are ways to be of service, various different things like that.
These little motherfuckers ain't finna do nothing but do a drive-by on that motherfucker.
My bad, y'all. I almost choking. But yeah, I was listening to what you were talking about finding ways to give something to the youth. Something that was mentioned in a private conversation the other day. You know, we're talking about some of the dudes in the community that's out there really getting their money in other fashions. You know what I mean? They probably have some of the more high end clothing. You know what I mean? And they arrive at a place that they want to get rid of those clothes. Don't even take it to some place where they're going to decide who to give it to. Man, if you out there in that community, you should know some young man or woman or whatever that could benefit from the things that you are no longer going to make use of, and get it to that person. You know what I mean? There's contribution that can be made on so many different levels. You know,
it is.
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point, because when you donate stuff to places like Goodwill and then they turn around and sell it, which is fine, they sell it at discounted prices, whatnot. I'm not knocking those organizations, but I'm saying, like, it's more personal if you pass it to someone that you know could use it. You know what I mean? That's even better, because you giving it to Goodwill or donating it to those little boxes and stuff, you don't know what hands it gets in and if it's being used properly. But if you hand it over to somebody who you know is going to be able to put it to use, then it feels better.
So I wanted to put this up here. Shout out to the chat while we at it. Shout out Karmic. And yes, my allergies was almost about to kill me a minute ago. Had to go get some water, some earth juice. But yeah, she says here, I'm going through something with a neighbor. It hurts to know that you can be helpful, but that person's household and what's values in there can conflict with the help you offer. Okay. So what I think I'm hearing her say is that sometimes you might find yourself in a situation where you want to be of service to somebody, but maybe the circumstances they have and the things that they're attached to can almost be like how she said, a conflict. You have to you get to questioning whether or not this is a good move for you for safety reasons or whatever else it might be, you know.
Or either the person might not, I was gonna say, or either the person might not be receiving of it because then their pride is in the way. Maybe
it could be that too. Yeah, if you want to expound on that a little bit, Karmic, we'd appreciate it. I don't want to
without divulging the neighbor too
right
closely to the neighbor's information, just a little bit more on how, because I think you have to even try, though. No matter what, you still got to give it a shot and make that offer. I've had that happen before. Me and my son had some food items that were canned food, and you know how the homelessness is in Sacramento. I kept on saying, I'm not going to use this. I'm not going to use this. Let me just give it to some people. And it was the kind where you could pull the lid off. You didn't need to have a can opener and everything. And when we went to pull over to give it to the lady, she said no, she didn't want it. And I was like,
she too proud to take it.
No, it was actually a person who was living on the side of the street.
Okay, but you have to understand, though, that there's different types of homelessness. There's some people that are homeless because they're going through something, and then there's other people that are homeless because they have some sort of addiction. So I've seen this happen before. Dude out asking for money, this, that, and the other. Okay, I need some money. I'm trying to get me something to eat. The guy didn't even say nothing to him. Says, I'll see matter of fact, that's what he said. I'll see what I can do on the way out. So he goes into the store, goes to the deli and buys his food, sandwich, brings the sandwich back out. And he said, man, I don't want this. He never really wanted the money for a sandwich. He's trying to get high. So somebody who's actually homeless and actually has an issue to where they're not eating like how they're supposed to, they're not going to turn away no food.
Not.
Right. And that's
homelessness was
I was like, give that stuff, son, grab that bag back. Because there's going to be another person, you know, we know how bad it is. It's a lot of homeless people. And so, yeah, just keep it pushing. But I'm always going to try to do stuff like that. You know?
Okay, so we got a little bit of clarity on this. She said that's correct. The greater influence is what they are, the people that are they are living around. So what you offer may not be accepted because the others are in their ear misleading them. Okay, so yeah, that's something you got to go through. But you know, we stay in the fight because somebody gonna need that help, and somebody gonna willingly receive it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
that person may come around down the line, and when those other influences are there, and be able to express, hey, I appreciated it. It's just I had some other stuff going on that was kind of blocking me from being able to accept what you was offering. You know? Yeah.
Basically,
Words of encouragement can go a long way.
Mhm.
So if we don't have food to give or clothes to give, offering somebody a smile and, you know, offering them, you know, maybe some direction in the right place, or information regarding where they could get help, that's being of service also.
yes. Well, I know that sometimes, man,
I'll come to your house and take a hammer to that phone.
I don't understand why you got the phone on during the podcast. It makes
Vibrate. Silence, vibrate, something.
I thought I had put it on vibrate. Anyway, I forgot what I was about to say now. That's too bad. It was something good too.
It'll come back to you.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. That the Greater Sacramento Economic Council has a broad range of different programs and avenues. If you're trying to volunteer or start up a business, or it's just a broad range of different programs that you can find through them. So I was just wanting to put that out there also.
Mm-hmm.
Can you repeat that name of that again,
The
please?
Greater Sacramento Economic Council.
Very
Okay.
good.
Okay.
And they have a long list, like, man, ranging from health to drug addiction, abuse, kid drive volunteers, food banks. Just is a large list of things.
Okay. Yeah. There's other programs that are in the community also. I worked for one, and I worked in connection with a couple of others that are out there that are specifically geared toward one of the things that we know that happens on a regular basis in certain communities is that's acts of violence, you know. So something goes down, somebody gets hurt, or, you know, even worse, somebody loses their life, then, you know, it's a team of people that show up at these scenes, or they show up at the emergency room with the family and offer services and resources, counsel, comfort, whatever it may be, to the people that are going through these things, and trying to help them to be able to walk through the issue without necessarily having to deal with the police. Because that's a lot of times these people want to try to get a hold of what's going on, but they don't trust the police. We don't want to talk to y'all, you know. And even though they can offer a lot of the same services and resources, they don't want to get it from them. So by having somebody to come in between all of that and be able to get them lined up with what do you call that? When it's the pastor, but they got another word for it. When they come out to this, I can't think about it. Anyway, you get them lined up with them kind of things. You can provide them with food, someplace to sit down and deal with what they're going through. You know, I think something like that is also important, because we haven't arrived at a place where these kind of incidents have stopped. So since it's ongoing, to have organizations that are tackling that and providing all that, I think that's a good thing as well.
I think that's very important. Because like you
Chaplain,
said,
my bad. That's why I had to get it out.
one thing we know is
Chaplain.
going to happen is crime. Crime's going to continue to happen. Lives are going to continue to be lost. And there has to be somebody on a community level to go through so that they don't have to feel like the police is the only outlet, because we know most people are not going to talk to them, but they might be more likely to talk to somebody who's actually from the streets, who'd have been there, done that, and is really there to just help and provide some sort of comfort during an awful situation.
And the big part about that is there have been times where, okay, something happened, but it hadn't escalated to the point of lives being lost. And okay, these people over here, look, this is what happened to my brother or whoever, and we know it was these cats over here that did that. It was really kind of a misunderstanding, this, that, and the other. Okay, well, the person they're telling that to has a measure of influence with the people that he's talking about, and have been able to communicate these things and have some sort of peace arrangements made. Like, look, this doesn't have to turn into people dying because it already got blown out of proportion. That's something that would never be able to be worked out on that level by the police. You know, they're gonna be too busy trying to arrest somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great project right there, and it needs to be more of that going on. It's good to hear that they're doing things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I watched a show on Channel 6 earlier this morning. On it's a show that comes on. It's called Startup, and in Detroit, Tapped In, which is a brewing company, said that they wanted to do something to stop the violence on the streets, and so this man wanted to see what these gangs were, you know, why this and that or whatever. He went to the police and said, who's the top dog, whatever, whatnot. Do you think if you stopped him and asked him, could he have a meeting with him, would he have a meeting with him? And they did. They eventually had a meeting, and both of the gangs out there, and they ended up working together and starting this brewing business, helping gang members and ex-felons get from being on the streets, teaching them all kinds of different parts of the business, from sales to advertisement to mechanical, just the whole 9 yards. And so it's nothing but gang members and criminals that run this brewing company, and it's a success.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a big deal, because at the end of the day, what that shows me is that them gangbangers, them criminals, this is what society forgets: they're people.
Yeah.
Right.
And the reason why they're out doing those things is because they've been pushed into this economic depression, where your household doesn't have this and it doesn't have that. And so you have to make means by any means necessary sometimes. And so, you know, if you give them an avenue where they could channel their energy into something positive, then you never know what the outcome could be.
Well, the outcome is going to be, if you pour love into somebody, they're going to pour love back. You know what I mean? So people are hurt people. So the people that are out there causing the crimes and doing things, it's coming from circumstantial situations. That is the reason why crime is so bad in urban communities, is because that's where the communities where people are suffering the most, where they're not getting the resources and the help. So of course, if they have more positive outsources or outlets to get involved in, you're going to have more positive results. And it's all about somebody taking the chance and going to make those things happen. You can't be scared in your own community. You have to take that chance. If you ripped up the community, if you poured the community with guns, drugs, gang violence, and you decide to change your life, why not be a part of the recovery process too?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that's
real. That's what I can't remember his name, but he's a councilman now, and that's what he was doing. He was a menace to society in Sacramento, and now he's a councilman. And damn, I can't think of his name right now. But he's trying to give back, you know. But once they get on that level, they change who they are in the inside to me.
What do you mean?
Like, you know, they forget where they came from. Yeah, they might be out to try and help, but they kind of really forget how it really was. And you have to look at it at all sides of the square, okay? And what works for somebody might not work for the next person, and what works for this person might not work for the next person. And
I don't know. I think sometimes when you make adjustments in your life, that there are things that no longer suit you or serve you. And I think we might say, "Oh, this person forgot where they came from," when what they really forgot is what they came from. They're still aligned with the place that they're from. They're still aligned with the ideology of creating progress in the place they're from, but they're no longer aligned with the certain things that they did, what they used to do, what they used to participate in. That don't mean they forgot who they was or where they came from. They just understood that shit don't apply to me no more. It don't serve me. It doesn't suit me.
You know, correct. And you know, they're building these developments for supposedly to help to get the homeless off the streets. And one of the places is down the street from me. Well, both directions from me, on Stockton Boulevard, is these developments to put these homeless people in. So around here, there's nothing, no kind of resource or any kind of centers that can help their kids that are going to be there, or to help themselves once they get up in there. You know, finding some place for them to live is not just going to be the only thing that's going to help them. It's going to be a start, but it's got to be something that's going to help build them up in the inside.
I agree. They do have to have something to do. I do know in North Sacramento there is a place called Open Doors, and for anybody who is suffering from homelessness, you're allowed to go in there. I want to say from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. and you can just sit in there. You can go online. There's computers in there. They have food all the time. They have an extra pair of clothes. Might be some bigger clothes, might not be, but they have stuff, they'll be able to help you with stuff like that. And a friend of mine runs the community center. So for anybody out there who may know somebody who is homeless and doesn't have anywhere to go, and you're not able to offer them help all the time, just let them know that is available for them as an option too. And they do have other resources that they are knowledgeable to pass on to them. So the name of that place is called Open Doors, if anybody needs them.
Good shout out for them. Yeah. What's going on, Deez?
Chilling.
Yeah, I on my research for this show tonight, today, I was really trying to find some sort of programs that were in line to help our youth, and there isn't any.
Yeah, we need more.
It ain't really no way to help them because everybody has this I gotta be rich mentality in the United States. So that's what causes the depression that a lot of these people go through, is because you're basically shunned for being a normal person in the United States. You have to be special to be popular. You have to look good to be accepted in these social groups. And, everybody got iPhones. If you got an Android, you
ain't nothing.
You ain't nothing. You's a sucker, or if you ain't got J's on your feet, if you don't got this bag or these Crocs or these whatever the fuck these motherfuckers is wearing. So everybody's like influenced because social media is basically trying to tell us all that there's a certain acceptance level, instead of just, hey, if somebody's broke and on hard times and they're mentally ill and They can't hold jobs because how hard do you think it is to hold a job if you're mentally ill? You know what I'm saying? That's got to be hard.
It's very hard. But as far as grouping everybody up and saying that, you know, there's no way to help the youth, there are some youth that can be helped. There's a lot that are stuck into the stereotypical, like you said, the Jordans, the cars, and all that stuff. But there are groups of people out there who just don't know what else to do. They can't afford the Jordans. They can't afford that. Those are the ones that need the help. And if you point them in the right directions of how to get the help, then it becomes self-sufficient and they can stand on their own. But to say that there's just nobody who wants it, there are few and far between. If you get out there enough, there's going to be people that's going to listen.
Yeah, and you know, I mentioned the different organizations earlier, but not by name, because I heard you say, Sav, that there's just not these people aren't out there to help the youth, but they are there. I think what it is that folks don't have they don't understand how what up, Woon? They don't understand how to gain access to these organizations. So Black Child Legacy Campaign is one of them. They do youth mentoring and crisis intervention. Advanced Peace is another one. They do youth mentorship and violence interruption in the community. And these are the organizations I was talking about when I said that, you know, okay, well, this is what's going on. We don't really want to talk to the police, but we don't want this to get out of hand. These are the organizations that dealt with that in order to silence some of the stuff that might have blown into something else. You know what I mean? And they're at work every day. And in the communities, whether we see them or not, whether, you know, the community that's not involved knows about it or not, they're out there and they're making a difference, you know.
I would like to see some of those names put on can we get some of that on the bottom of our screen or something like that?
Yeah, I can do that. Mm-hmm. But
yeah,
there was a point in time where I think don't quote me on this, but I want to say it was like almost 2 years without any youth killings in the Sacramento area. And these organizations that's out there on the ground level, they played a tremendous part in that, you know. So it's taking place. It's just not visible to everybody, you know what I mean? Because they're not out there for the purpose of gaining notoriety. They really trying to help.
And that's what it's all about. It's not about, but not necessarily notoriety, but just at least if people know that that's available, then it can spread amongst others.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the problems that are out there with the youth shooting each other and killing each other, there's got to be more noise being made about resources. And if they understand that these are programs that are ran by ex-gang members, maybe they'll feel a little bit better about actually becoming a part of it or finding out what's available. If they are understanding these are people that are just like you. These aren't some corporate America coming down to go help out the little man. These are people who are actually have paid some dues, been in the game, and decided to change their life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you know, they need to probably hit places like the football games and the basketball games, you know, as they're coming out the door. Hey, here's some place that you might want to go to get it out for these for these young kids to know where to go, because it's not like it's going to be commercialized on TV.
They're doing all that. There was even one at one point in time. I don't know if it's still up and running, but there was one at one point in time that had actually put together a Pop Warner football team. You know what I mean? To be a part of the league, the Pee Wee League games that go on. So that's what I mean. Not having a knowledge of it does not mean that it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. There's somebody right now that has no idea how much dope is being sold on the streets, how many prostitutes is running, how much killing is being done, because they're not in the places where you would need to be to have access to that knowledge. That's what I'm saying. It's taking place. You just got to be in the certain arenas for it to be visible to you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's social media is the devil. It's a good and a bad though. But social media is what's tearing our kids apart.
I don't think it is.
It's
I
the
don't either.
it's the to me social media is it's the music that they're listening to, that they're dramatizing this that and the other.
Okay, so
And
what was going on in the 80s, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s before there was social media and there was still crack being sold, there was still gangs
because that was being pushed into the streets by the government to help bring.
It was happening without social media is the point.
right.
Happening on the same scale, though.
Yeah,
It was
not as
happening
much.
on the.
Here's the
then
thing:
what
the
happened
scale is out of hand.
things like the RICO Act.
It's so
If it wasn't happening on
widespread
a big
now.
scale,
That's why I say it's no fixing it, because it's so widespread. I think we underestimate the magnitude. You know, every ghetto, every black neighborhood in the United States is fucked up. Not good. Not some high society positive shit. They're all fucked up. Not halfway, all the way. And it wasn't like that before. That's why social media has made it different.
Well, no, I didn't say it hadn't made a difference. If social media stopped tomorrow and it was to never return, all these circumstances still going to exist because they existed prior to it. That's the point.
But they're not going to exist on the scale that they are right now.
That's
Because
not true. That's not true. Think
You
about
got
what you're
niggas
saying.
that want to shoot people on camera.
Think about what you're saying. Think about what you're saying. Before people were able to travel across the globe on different ships that they made, in their mind, we're the only people in the world doing anything. When they get to traveling and meeting other people, it's like, oh, because of these boats, the world is, that shit was happening. Just because you didn't see it didn't mean it wasn't happening. It was still taking place. Social media just makes it more visible. There's nothing new to none of this shit. Instead of hearing about, oh, did you hear about that one thing where that one kid did the one shooting in Columbine? Now, because of social media, we hear about all of them. It doesn't mean it's happening.
and they could and someone
about it.
and someone who has on that level of wanting to do something like that, they could type that shit in and get more ideas and more ideas and more ideas and more ideas.
But think about what you just said, though. Somebody who what?
Who's thinking that?
Right. This is the same thing I say about gun control. Oh, if we take these guns away, everything will happen differently. No, it won't. We're not going to stop having killings. Instead of it being shootings, there's going to be stabbings. There's going to be bludgeonings. It's not because it's in their mind. It's in their mind.
Well, excuse me. They wouldn't. We wouldn't have the problems we have, and that's just all it is to it to me.
Okay, I hear you on that, but I guess what I'm asking you is, how do you conclude that?
Because, like, a lot of the beefs that kids have, these young kids have, and older people too, they'll read something on social media, and then it'll cause a little quarrel, or some static, being someone comments on this and comments on that, and then it goes into something bigger and bigger and bigger.
So in our area, we pass notes.
So I agree. I agree with you that some of the beefs that transpire are from things people see on social media. I'm not disagreeing that is it, but I don't think that it has beefed up because of it. And
I would say it's beefed up at least 40% more because of social media.
Okay, but the problem still exists. Is all
right.
The problems were there before, so the needing of the solution is there, and that's what I think this forum is for us to just try to find solutions to these specific problems, because it doesn't matter how come they exist or how the numbers have went up. These problems exist. It's about us trying to find different ways to help with the already bad situation. Trying to figure out what made it work is not the solution.
It really ain't. You're spinning your wheels, because each one of us on this panel could speak about somebody who we lost to an act of violence in the community long before social media existed. That's proof that the shit was happening.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it might be a factor in how information is spreading faster, that, you know, gets the fire on the street started faster. But that's it. Like I said, you know,
Yeah.
in our era, it was we passed notes in school, or, you know, it was word of mouth from one person to another, or it was, you know, secret 3-way phone calls. But the shit that's happening on social media was already happening. It's just on a different platform. There's nothing new
Right.
about shit.
Right.
You know? Yeah, and it makes a lot of stuff more visible. But it was already taking place, you know.
So what part do we play in fixing it? Is, again, you know, that's, you know, by having this kind of conversation and continuing to explore or make known the resources that are available. That's the importance of having these kind of talks.
I don't think for me, I don't think fixing it is the goal, because you'd have to fix humanity. And we already know that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's about being available to those who you know, they have it in their heart that they know that there's something different that they would like to do, being accessible to those people. You know what I mean? And not them always coming to us, but making ourselves present in their area, wherever they might be at, where we run into them at, being accessible to people that have it in their heart to want to do something else. Because fixing the whole issue, I don't think that's ever going to happen. When you look at the history of mankind, violence and conflict is a part of it.
I know when I was younger, they used to have career day, or, you know, people would come to the school and talk to the kids, a broad range of different people. I mean, I don't know if my kids is grown, so I don't know if they still do that in schools, but I'm wondering, do they still have people that come and talk to the kids at schools? You know,
they do. That stuff still happens. But that kind of highlights the point I was just making. How many people really gave a damn? It's like, oh, I got to meet this person.
Right.
But did you hear what was really being said? Did you take advantage of any of the information that was given to you? And unfortunately, more kids are going to ignore all of that than there are that are going to take part in it. But that individual
touches one
level by being accessible to the ones who already thought that they had something different in mind. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, I'm gonna try to get through this show without doing too much coughing, but you know,
you and me, boy. I'm just trying to get bits and pieces of conversation, because I talk a lot, and as the more I talk, my voice gets more strained. So I'm just trying to push through.
I guess it must really be the allergies, because I don't know where my congestion in my throat just came from over goddamn night either. Shit.
Well, yeah, man, the way the wind been blowing out here,
yeah,
it was to be expected.
My eyes is itchy and runny, all that whole nine.
I also wanted to make a suggestion as far as community service, not just to talk about the things on the gangs and things like that, but it's all, you know, the giveaway part of it. It's nothing for each of us to go and to the dollar store and get 10 hand sanitizers, you know, a toothbrush, some hygiene product, and make little plastic baggies, you know, like the Ziploc bigger one, and just have a couple of items in there. And when you see someone who may need it, pass it out to them. It's just small things like that we can do. Like we said, we can't save the world, but by being of service and putting things out there, I think it's important to know. Or leaving that old bag of clothes inside of your car instead of dumping it off at, you know, just take a couple of things. And then if you see somebody who may need it, then you have it handy.
That's a good idea. And I got some stuff that I had already gave somebody a couple of things, but it's some more stuff, and it's a whole bunch of men's shoes in the garage that need to get the hell up out of there too. That I could probably take and disperse when I go to work.
Well, and that's the thing. It's something just as simple. When you go downtown, I know you see a lot of people in need. So, you know, and it don't even, like I said, have to be a homeless person. It could just be a young boy who's getting off the city bus, and you see him with some scuffed up shoes. Hey, I might have something in my trunk that you can fit. Not just want to hand you. Would you mind? You can take them home, and you know. So just little things like that is each one teach one, or each one reach one. So that we're just trying to do little things that may go a long way. And I have a story to tell. So many years ago, I'm gonna say 24 years ago, I lived off of 47 and 47. Okay, in Rosedale Apartments. My daughter went to the school right down the street from there, and there was a boy who went to school with her, and he had something was wrong with his arm, and it was like kind of twisted, and he didn't have the best clothes or whatever, and he used to just be lingering around, you know, and I would always see him, and so I finally like, what are you doing out, you know, outside? It's about to be dark. Like, when are you gonna go home and stuff? And he's like, yeah, I know. Do you got any change? I was like, you got any change? Yeah, I got some change. Let me see what I can do for you. So I said, why don't you take out my trash for me? And take out my trash for me. I'm gonna give you the change. Now this is so funny. There are a couple of times he would come back to my door, and Shanice was like, oops. And my daughter was like, don't, he's not, you know, nobody likes him at school. He's weird. He's this, that. And I was just like, yeah, but he needs help. Like, so he would say, can I come take your trash out? Sometimes I didn't have money for him, but even when I had food stamps, I would give him a couple paper food stamps and just help him out, right? So fast forward to about a year ago, he finds Niche on social media, and he says to her, how's your mom doing? And your mom gave me my first job. Tell her that I'm doing well. And isn't that crazy how
That's
something
wonderful.
so small, and
Mhm.
it warmed my heart. It made me so happy. And even it made her happy. She was like, I'm so glad that he's doing good. Like, he looks good. He has a good job now. And that's the small thing that I'm talking about, that you just never know how that could affect somebody. So
Mhm. Mhm.
Hey, Boo Boo. Thank you for joining us on the podcast, my baby, Kehlani.
What up, KK?
hey,
Yeah, that's a dope story right there. And you're right. You never know. You know what you seen at the time was just a small little bit of help, and you know, in exchange for some small help on your end, and it was something that stuck with him throughout the rest of his life since then. You know,
right.
Said if it touches one,
that you gave him his first job. You know, that's dope.
And it was crazy that he had said that. Like, I had literally been forgot. You know, like, a lot of stuff that happened over time, I didn't forgot about him. So when she mentioned him, she was like, "You remember?" And I ain't gonna say his name for those purposes, but she said, "Do you remember so and so?" I said, "Yeah." And then she's like, "He reached out. He's doing good. I seen him on social media. He reached out." And that, what he threw in, he was like, "Tell your mom I owe her a dinner. If I ever see her again, I owe her dinner." But
Mhm.
it was just so great to hear, because that's the kid that was frowned upon in school, right? So
Mhm.
nobody really messed with the students, didn't really like him.
Mhm.
Obviously, something in his household was backwards, or he wouldn't have been out the late nights or out lingering around, like kind of begging and
Mhm.
stuff. And so we can't turn our nose up to stuff like that. I
Mhm.
didn't have anything either. This is where the story
Right.
deepens.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
I didn't have anything, but what little I had, I was willing to share with this little boy. Then sometimes he would come, I'd be like, I ain't got nothing. That's okay. He said, I'll still take out the trash for you. You know, and this went on for a while. And it's just, those are the things that we can do and be of service to people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No doubt.
yeah, I have a similar story. He was the neighborhood crackhead, and you know, and people would put him to work for nothing. And I might be doing some work in the neighborhood. You know, that's how I would know him, because the people I was working with would hire him. And he always would talk to me, and he said, "You're so beautiful." I said, "You beautiful too. This doesn't define you. You could be better than this. I know you're gonna be better than this." And then a couple of years later, I seen him at a stoplight, and he said, "Hey, how you doing?" And I turned over, and then I had to take a second look, and I'm like, "Dang, you look good." He said, "Yeah, I went to started going to meetings and stuff, and now I got me a job, and I got me a girl, and I got me an apartment now." And I was like, "Go ahead, then." It said, see how good God is?" And he's like, "Yeah, thank you very much. You're the only person who used to ever tell me that I was going to be something." And sure enough.
Yeah, that's another dope story, because like you say, the small things, something that's effortless to give, it made a huge difference to somebody else.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the one thing we can always give this free is a piece of advice, a word of encouragement. It goes a long way. Even when you don't got, like I said, no, you can't feed that person. You can feed their soul. Feed their soul with some good words.
Motherfuckers don't want no food, they want drugs.
Yeah, some of them. I think I think, you know, the principle here, like you said, if you can't feed them, you know, how's the saying go? If you give a man a fish, you can feed him for a day, but if you teach him how to fish, you can feed him for a lifetime. So sometimes that, you know, an actual meal isn't possible, but there's some piece of information you can give to help them to see how to do better at feeding themselves. You know what I mean?
Like these young girls that traipse up and down these streets, and it's cold as hell at night lately. You know, not lately, this winter, it's been hella cold, okay? And they're out there traipsing up and down this street with no clothes on. Not for their pockets, for somebody else's pockets. And the other night, I'm at Walmart, and this girl has on a bikini. And it's freezing cold. And I'm thinking to myself, what could I go over there and tell her? And there was nothing that I could think of right offhand that would make her just stop and think to herself, this is not what I should be doing. But something needs to be done, because it's too many of them.
Yeah, they out there. And you know, that's another thing I think about when it comes to community service. If you look at the community, like you break it down to a family unit, okay, and you got the one kid that's always in trouble, and the parents' attention always focused on that kid. Then the kid that's doing the shit they supposed to be doing, but they're having their own set of struggles along the way, they're not getting that same attention because the attention's always focused on the problem child. Sometimes the community efforts have to be geared toward the kids that are actually trying to do the right shit. So
Agreed.
We might want to say the girl that's being, you know, that's getting put on the blade or whatever. We might want to save the little youngsters out there gang banging or whatever. We might want to save them. But on the same token, though, what about the kid that's trying to do everything right and we're ignoring their struggles? We got to give attention to them also. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
And somebody on the back, keep on going. You're doing a good job. I see you. It might go a long way.
Well, yeah, because that's always the story from someone who has got to a higher level, and they'll say, yeah, I had this one teacher or this one counselor or my uncle or my coach or whatever that just kept saying that this, that. And as Kaylani says, persistence is key. If you stay on someone constantly telling them you're gonna do good, or you're doing good, and keep up the good work, goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Yes,
I had to
indeed.
tell my own self that talk the other day because my paintings aren't coming out the way I want them to come out, and I'm like, "Fuck this shit!" And I just slung all the shit off the table, and then I'm like,
Man, you got motherfuckers selling paintings or they put some paint on their butt cheeks and put it on a fucking canvas, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, man.
"Well,
Look,
that's what I eventually had to tell myself. It's
Well,
not."
I mean, and I was gonna say what Van Gogh we might not consider what Van Gogh painted as art, but somebody else can.
That's what eventually it's like. It doesn't have to be perfect, because I mean, why are you tripping?
it's never gonna be.
Right. And so
Yeah.
I just said, quit tripping off of it not being perfect. Just finish it. Okay. And so I picked up all my shit off the floor and cleaned up my mess and got in my head and meditated on the situation. It's like, quit being a crybaby.
Listen, start simple. You don't got to paint some elaborate ass motherfucking mosaic or whatever the one you want to call it. It doesn't have to be super turned up. Just paint some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Because the experience of you painting it is freeing you in the inside. Like you're conquering something.
Absolutely.
You guys want to see a couple of the ones that I did, some of the drawings that I've done?
Sure. You can show us one or two.
It all matters. And we got to encourage each other.
Don't be bringing out none of them naked ones.
No naked ones, huh?
Don't be bringing out none of them naked ones.
I don't got no naked ones.
You used to have some naked ones, nigga.
Anyway, this is one of.
Oh, that's nice.
This is the Egyptian vase.
Lift it up a little bit so we can see the whole thing. No. There we go. I can see it now.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Okay.
And add a little bit of color when you color that in. That looks really good.
That's dope.
You got books on how to teach you how to do portraits? Or you just drew that?
I just drew that.
Oh yeah, that's really good then.
Mm-hmm.
People is taking books.
Back that up.
That's nice.
Wait.
There you go. Yeah, that's
And
dope.
see
Was
something
that
like
Beyonce
that.
or something?
No, that's just. It looked like Beyonce, though, huh?
Yeah, it do.
So I mean, that's the thing. That to me, all those are good drawings.
Yeah.
Those are all good drawings, especially to just be sketching it yourself, even if you looked at a picture.
Freehanding it. Yeah, that's
Right.
dope. Yeah.
Right.
This is the one I'm working on right now.
Okay. All very nice.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tip my hat to you. I'm glad you got to the comfort zone of being able to explore your artistic ability again, because you already know we all admired that, when we were younger, how you could just pick up something and be like, here, let me put this together with paper and a pencil. That's
right. I never forget that picture you drew for me. That picture of Tupac.
That's what I'm about to start. My next one is going to be of Tupac, but I got to find the right picture, because the best picture that I did was the one that I did at your house when we stayed on 47th, and that one was so good. And then Kiana came through and marked him up with a red marker. I said,
hold on a second. This just to show you. This is something I found on social media real quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's no more elaborate. It's no more elaborate than the shit you drew.
Right.
Yeah.
They're sitting up posting that shit on their page, and they're getting hella people liking it and buying that shit. You got to just step out of your comfort zone. It's just like when we did music and shit. We recorded rap songs. We knew damn well wasn't nobody gonna like the shit, but we still did it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
I think one of the
sometimes
comments
it's just about expression.
Art is art, and that's what it is. It's a form of expression, and it's your expression, and it's going to appeal to the
I'm
eyes.
gonna turn the camera back off.
I think that sometimes we're our own worst critic. Stop being our own worst critic and getting in our own way. When you showed the pictures, we all loved them, but in your mind,
that's why I said I had to quit being a crybaby, because I went in here and I said, "Fuck this stupid," and then just slung the shit all off the table. And I'm like, if you don't quit acting like a crybaby because it's not coming out right, but.
Well, one way to perfect your craft is just to keep doing it.
Right.
That's the best way. So the more you draw, the better each ones are going to come out. So keep drawing.
Yeah. And I mean, I can't remember if it was Van Gogh or that other famous artist from that era, but it was one of them that he would put deliberate imperfections in his art. He would hide these deliberate imperfections.
Van Gogh.
Okay, so it was him. Okay. For the purpose, that was like his signature. But that just helps you to understand that an imperfection, it's really only imperfect to you because it comes from your imagination.
Yep.
And your imagination of it is the perfect representation, and you're trying to bring that out in the real world. It's still beautiful to the other people because they're like, damn, you just
have you tried
that and actually brought it to life?
They got computer software, man, that's pretty like.
Yeah, it's called AutoCAD.
You probably would get into that too, and then you can do some of the stuff you're thinking in your head.
That's secondary. I really want to work with my hands. I want to do the woodwork. I like when we discuss what business we would like to start amongst us when we talked about that after everybody when we went around the room and everybody said what business they wanted to do. Remember what business I said wanted to do?
We ain't the most strong memory people like that, so we're hoping you remember.
I do.
You're going to test us out and put us on Front Street like that. Your mic ain't on, mine.
What was funny about that is it took me a second to remember when she was talking about even going around the room. I was like,
right.
I remember it was when Mama passed away.
Exactly.
When Mama passed away, we all took a moment and manifested things. And so, look, this is a part of that manifestation. Really,
Absolutely.
if you look at that,
Absolutely. Hey. Oh, man. You're crazy as hell.
That's why I think that us doing the show is so important to each of us individually. We may not understand just how important it is, and we may not be reaching the viewers but the fact, it's one thing to suit up and show up every day for a job that we know we're going to get paid for. Outside of that pay, we're only making them rich. You know what I mean? But at least us suiting up and showing up for this show, we're making our own selves spiritually rich. You can't put a price tag on that. So for me, even on the weeks that I work the Tuesday through Saturday, and then I'm like, damn, I got to go right into the show on Sunday. It never seems like a day off. But for what it does on the inside, you can't put a price tag on it, because just being able to accomplish doing something like this with the siblings, being consistent, and all of us sticking to it, it's been beautiful. That's the beautiful side of it. And I think each of us are all growing on the inside from doing this.
Yeah, I was cleaning a lady's house the other day from the house that I left to go do from last Sunday. And I was telling her about she says, well, if you don't never make $1 from the podcast, the tightness that you and your siblings are getting from this is greater than the money. And I said, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
This is the
Yeah.
time we needed. Me being gone our whole lives, we never got to be all four of us as one because I was clearly gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when we came together for Khalil's graduation, it's gonna be so lit.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Me too. Me too.
We definitely got to get the video cameras out. I got a video camera too.
Yeah. And I know Jashay got a camera too, and so does Kai. So definitely, it's good to always look back at the footage of times that we have spent together. When we get to it's true, like the saying on the movie Soul Food, when the mom said, together we can pack a mighty blow. And I think that was the truth. One by one, we can go out here and individually do things. Of course, work on our own hopes and dreams. But together is when it's like it's good. I'm about to kick his out. That's all I know.
Caesar.
Yeah. Together, strong.
Caesar wasn't playing either.
Oh man, yeah, but no, most definitely, and we all got our individual activities and important things and all that, but the togetherness part it still has to be present, and I think this is definitely an exercise of that, a representation of that. Yeah.
Fuck that shit. I don't want to do no podcast with you motherfuckers.
You talking all that shit behind that camera, homie. Show yourself.
Right.
It was a lot of kicking.
And look, I can't show myself because I'm eating.
I was just eating. Because the cake was sitting right in front of me, and I'm like, shit, I got to have me a piece of that.
I had a full meal, and y'all never even noticed.
That's the thing. Do it discreetly. That's all.
You know what I mean? Like,
hey, I had a headache. Like I said, I don't know. We all got allergies right now. Siblings connected around this motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I woke up this morning. One nostril was plugged. My throat was plugged up.
Y'all seen me choking on here, when we first started. So yeah.
Shit, it was that wind last night was whipping through this motherfucker. I was like, shit.
So think about this, because y'all had a couple of dope stories that of how you've seen people take the small offerings or help that you gave to them, and over time it had an impact in their life, and you was also privileged enough to be able to get the report of the impact. You know what I mean? So I think that was hella dope. And I guess the question is, do we think that we're having that same sort of impact on a family level? And if we are, or we have we got to the point where we're able to get the privilege of hearing the impact that we've had on brothers, sisters, cousins, nieces, nephews, children, whatever. You know what I mean? Because family is the first community.
It is.
Yeah.
You're right.
It'll be a test when we all get together, because if we all could get together and we not have one disagreement about nothing and we have a good time, then that'll be the growth, I think.
Shit, well, you can forget about that. We're gonna disagree about some shit.
Be a disagreement.
Right.
Disagree about some shit 20 seconds in. You know what I
mean? Right. I don't like the fact that a motherfucker woke up with the attitude that they had, or the way that their eyebrows is I just got a problem, period.
Oh shit. What up, Kyle?
Well, I mean, to answer your question,
hi, Boo Boo.
I can't directly come off the top of my head and think of a time that I've poured something in and been able to see it, other than just watching my kids grow up.
Right.
But outside of that, but I feel like we are the product of the adults that came before us and what they poured into us. So
that's what made me want to ask the question.
Yeah. So family being the first community, We were always taught in our home to speak correctly. I talk about this all the time because when you're out in the streets and in the hood, we talk proper to them. But it was because we were etched in it was etched in stone in our household to not use slang, to not speak a certain way. So now we're able to use a format like this and speak properly. Yes, we cuss, yes, we fuss, but we're all, I feel, educated enough without any college degrees. We're still educated enough to be able to read, to write, and to speak properly. So we are the product of what was put into us.
But you
mixed in with a little bit of filth, Florin filth.
Right. You
no, like one of the questions Steve Harvey said to the person on Family Feud, name something that you feel. And he said the Kool-Aid pitcher.
Woo!
Look, he didn't know the difference between his feelings and his feelings. You know?
Right.
Retarded
and the fact
motherfucker.
that he said Kool-Aid, I'm just done with it at that point.
Retarded motherfucker.
What's up to Kai and what's up to Kaylani? I don't think that I've ever seen them join. So I want to shout out my nieces. Thank you guys for tapping in.
Yes, my daughters.
Everybody who's in the chat, we see you guys. Thank you guys for tapping in today. It feels good.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's a lot of stuff need to be done on the community level. But what I was saying about family being the first community, I think that there are a lot of strides that we're making, and other people probably as well, on a family level. But it's not enough or often enough that these families come together on a community level and are able to share the different stuff that's taking place. You know, it would be nice if that was something that we could work toward progressively, because I don't think it's going to happen overnight. But families are doing stuff, but they don't get to share it with other families as often as we should.
Right.
Our family is humongous, so it's kind of crazy to me. We strewn all over the United States, and I don't know. I guess that's just how it is, you know. But I don't know. It's not always going to be what it is right now.
Yeah.
There's going to be a time in the United States where, you know, everybody's not going to have jobs and homes and businesses, and, you know, America's about to strip us from all that from us. You know what I'm saying?
It's possible that that's on the horizon, you know. But
they may attempt.
Why these things is so important right now. There has to be some sort of family camaraderie right now. Yeah.
So I might as well add this. This is some of what I'm talking about. So they got an autonomous McDonald's in Fort Worth, Texas. And basically, for those of you who are who understand, this means that motherfuckers ain't gonna have them jobs no more.
Right.
So
that's true. That's true.
So look, it's a game because it's McDonald's. All right, fine. But when they get the bitches that's putting the sheets in the motels, they next. Then they're gonna get the you know what I'm saying? It's all a big ass domino effect that's about to happen. There's not gonna be no more people serving fast food. There's not gonna be no people at no hotel desk. There's not gonna be no people at no shit. Look at Carvana with the cars. Ordering cars online. You get what I'm saying? Motherfuckers ain't finna have no motherfucking job.
No, there will be, but the jobs will have to be based on industry. You know, truck driving, for instance.
Slavery.
That's not what I'm saying. Truck driving, for instance, as long as the system is operating, that's going to have to be something that's in play. You understand?
Let me tell it. They're going to be alien robots running around this motherfucker. They are doing that around here. these goddamn hybrids already in androids anyway. Shit. Shit. You guys think dollars a dozen, bet. When it finally come out, the androids is mixing with humans and making these hybrids, and that's what's going on.
Yeah, but I mean, we already kind of knew that was coming. None of this is a surprise. You understand what I'm saying? But I think that's why it's important to be up on what's on the up and coming, what's on the horizon as far as new business models. And instead of being tripping off, oh, they're getting rid of this old shit. Well, really, that's just a sign for us to get rid of some of our old shit and start a new practice on our level.
It really is a broad range of things because again, I was watching something.
Homeless rate skyrocket.
Again, I was watching something on Channel 6, and these ladies went and are selling their vegetables that they're home growing these vegetables, and the cabbage was the size of a damn basketball. A cabbage.
That shit ain't got no flavor though. Trust me, we used to that poisonous shit.
But no, that's what the lady said, that it did have flavor. They ate it right.
I would like to think that it probably tastes better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's making a good living off of it, shipping her cabbage to other people.
Well, I think Kai Brigham made a good comment. It said you gotta change the narrative and adjust, learn a trade to fix the robots.
Nowadays the robots fix themselves.
Well, no, but I mean,
okay. Well, they're fixing themselves.
Adaptability.
They're fixing themselves according to a program. or get into programming. There's
Right.
still an adjustment to be made. Is the
Right.
point she's making?
Right.
Yeah,
But we're not locked out.
Okay, so you think that right now, if you took how many people you think in our society are fast food workers?
I get what you're saying. I'm not
You think
devaluing that.
you think that all those numbers are about to switch over to robot programming?
Okay. I don't
No,
think that's what's being said. I didn't take that statement as in that way. I get what you're saying, but the whole point is, here's the thing: fast food. I mean, that ain't really nobody's just like living their life off of that
That's
salary.
where all
Anyway.
the young people work.
That's my point.
Right, but even if you think about our family, our community as our family community, I think there may only be one person in the entirety of the family that works in fast food right now. Yes, a lot of the youth go that direction, but I'm saying as a whole, that situation wouldn't directly hit our family, but yet provide an opportunity for our family if we were to get into programming them, if we were to get into fixing them, if we were to get into something like that. That's how I was just looking at it, as adaptability, being able to adapt to whatever situations come our way.
Or look at it like this: now you're going to, franchising a fast food restaurant.
Yes.
And instead of having to pay employees, you're paying maintenance on the robots. It
Right.
could be
But
a
we're
business
still making money 'cause we
opportunity,
own it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That would probably be a ideal franchise to invest in, because you don't have to deal with the people.
But
Right. You're not going to have
here's
such a high
here's the point.
turnover.
It's not 10 years from now. It's not 7 years from now. It's probably not even 5 years from now, because Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, all them motherfuckers already got robotic arms and shit all in there. They got robots making food already. This isn't like when I die, I'm 80, they're going to do it.
No.
We-
no,
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
just like they did that in
Hold on, panel. Hold on. I know it's so current as to, let me tell you how the hospitality industry wishes to remove it. They want to get people to check in digital check-in through your phone. So yes, that removes front desk agents
I'm
from
trying
being
to tell
able
you.
Yeah.
They're going to remove so many jobs. I just brought fast food up. I just brought fast food up for the fuck of it. It wasn't to say that's the only thing that's going to disappear. All this shit's finna disappear. They're not finna be no ladies in there cleaning the room. They got robots and shit doing that shit, folding sheets. The iRobot thing that wheel around there and sweep the floors. They got a cleaning robot right now that can go and clean the whole motherfucking goddamn hotel. He don't got to sleep. He don't got to take no motherfucking break. He ain't got to do shit.
So here's the point though. You look up how to get it, the training in advanced robotic training. This is just the first one I pulled up. You can do this schooling and graduate in less than 3 years. So if you said it's like less than 5 years on the horizon, the options that we have to combat it are still within our means. That's the only point that we make it. We know it's coming.
Yeah.
We have time to make the adjustment
right now.
Huh?
So how many of us on this panel about to take this robotic training?
Okay.
How many of our kids can?
Here's what I'm saying though. Here's what I'm saying though. My job ain't on no robotics chopping block. So,
yeah, it is.
No, it ain't. No,
That's
it ain't.
Started it. Watch this. Watch this. I'm finna show you right now.
Okay. You're gonna show me something that you think I don't know about. The point I'm making is Tesla hasn't even got the approval to run their cars without a motherfucking driver because there's all kind of kinks in the system, hitting shit, all kind of that's still some ways out, if ever. Nah,
that's gonna happen too.
Okay. Well, it's come this far. I'm kind of with D's. It probably could happen.
I'm making. We can say, damn, all the jobs are going to go anywhere. And then what?
All right.
So if we all agree that the jobs are going away to robotics, now what? Oh, we have to have a solution. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so it says right now,
solutions.
It says that current state law prohibits testing or deployment of autonomous vehicles that weigh more than 10,000 pounds, outlawing large trucks and big rigs with autonomous capabilities. Under proposed legislation, testing of autonomous trucks could be permitted, but only with a driver behind the wheel. So right now, the only way they can test them is with a motherfucker sitting in there overseeing it. But still, that eliminates, like as far as team driving goes, bye-bye.
Right. Well, I mean, listen, we already know that there's pilots that put planes on autopilot is all that means, but there's still a pilot in the plane, so we all agree that this is something that's going to come into fruition the more time spends, but how do we adapt to it? Where do we fit in the change?
It'll be hard to adapt because it's going to be so widespread. It's not going to just be at McDonald's. It's going to be at the hotel. It's going to be at the Amazon factories. It's going to be the trucking industry. It's going to be you know what I'm saying? It's not just going to be some small thing. Robots are really going to take over the shit.
Well, they got a place that they do
with that.
iRobot.
So I'm asking again, are we just supposed to sit back and watch the show? Or should we be trying to find an alternative? Because that's all that we're saying. That's all that we were saying by putting up the information about doing programming or something like that. Because if we're not going to do that, then we're basically sticking our thumb up our ass and saying the robots took over and now I'm going to die. We should automatically be having some kind of alternative in place. That's what the auto district when they took these people off of the assembly lines and put these robot arms in place to make these cars,
and put all them factory workers that have been balling and buying homes and building up communities for 50 years right the fuck out of business and made Detroit look like a goddamn war zone.
Correct.
Right, but the people who owned those industries then filtered.
I'm just saying they weren't able to bounce through that shit.
They should have redirected them to make a means of somewhere else. But some of those companies did help, but some of those companies didn't.
Right, but the
I'm
owners of
I'm
those
stuck
companies.
on what's the plan
Owners of
then.
the
If
companies,
we
let's
know that
talk
that's going to
about
happen,
ownership.
how
Let's
do we
talk
deal
about
with it? What's the
ownership
plan?
instead of being the workers. Let's talk about being the owners and not the workers. That's why.
Right. That's why I said that franchise would be.
That's why we're the workers now, because we ain't got shit.
No, but we're building. Everybody individually is building, and together when we come up with this family business, all these things will be taken into consideration when we come up with a business that will make money for the family as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
We think on the terms of the businesses that have longevity that will be able to avoid these type of things interfering. And no
We've
matter
been
what,
talking about
even
it
if
for
we
30
wait,
years
hold
though,
on, just
this
let me finish
family
my
alone.
point. I just want to finish my point. If we get a business open one and we begin to generate revenue, we're able to expand under our LLC and do other things with our businesses. We take that money, just like the drug dealer is taking the money and flipping it and then open it. That's what we do. We take the money and then we flip it and get into something else. We continue to find ways to make more money.
I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it. You know, I
Okay,
don't look.
but we've been talking about that aspect of it for 30 years as siblings.
And we're already one step closer by just doing the show.
Well, I want to learn how to fly a car plane.
Well, you might as well just get a pilot license and the car plane flies, because you can have a regular motherfucking license to fly that. So,
Well, no, because the car plane is coming up next.
oh, they're already here. They just don't.
Yeah, but
They just don't have it. It's not on a
It
mainstream
hasn't
level
been
at this.
FAA approved just yet.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I showed you guys all that shit already.
Who's going to control those airwaves, though? That's what I want to know. How high are they supposed to?
Well,
How
the
high is the car going to go off the ground?
It's not going to be high like 30,000 feet, because people will be, obviously you could run out of gas. It's going to be different factors that go, but they got one now that the sun energizes it, so it's like how the Tesla cars are. Basically, it's battery operated.
Yeah, I've seen something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my question is, as a family unit, when we have differences of agreements and everybody has different ideas, how can we prevent that from stopping us in moving forward? Because I think everybody has a role to play. Everybody's good at
My bad.
individual good things. And so we have to find a way as a unit to let everybody's specialties play out.
Well, that's one of the things we can do when we have this, when we gather for the graduation. We can have that second round table and do exactly that. See, collab on something that we could try and get something started.
Technically, flying cars aren't cars, they're planes.
Okay.
That's how advanced that is.
I would say the thing that we need to do then, because the disagreements, difference of viewpoints is going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
Focus on solutions. You know what I mean? Like that, and I think that's what Kaisha was doing when she was putting these things in here. You know, those are possible solutions to an inevitable change that's on the horizon. We know it's there. We know it's coming. How can we deal with that to where we don't wind up on the ass end of it?
Yeah.
It's Kai too. She's Kai.
You know what? Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, but I think we got to focus on solutions. We can't avoid some of the obstacles, but we can put our heads together on how to get over, around, or under the obstacle, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
My only point was, it's not going to be when we're 90.
And I don't know who said that it was going to be.
It's going to be like that movie, The Fifth Element, with Chris Tucker and Bruce Willis. And that's how it's going to be pretty soon from here.
Mm-hmm.
Space is, I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be something else by 2030, it's gonna be a whole different ball game.
Well, yeah, because they're already trying to make it in California.
Zero emissions.
Yeah, they're trying to make it to where I think it's 2035. After 2035, you can no longer purchase a car unless it's a
Zero emissions.
a completely electric vehicle. You know, and that's a short period of time away from now.
And see, they need
And
to be
so
they need to be trying to make it realistically, like they got this rebate that they said that they'll give you for getting a electric car, but the average person will not be able to get that rebate because they don't make their credit isn't good enough, or they don't make enough. So it's not designed for the average person.
So what I was thinking though, so if we know these things are coming about, how about we find out how much it costs to get charging stations and put charging stations in different places, and there it is there.
That's what I mean. Solutions. Yeah.
That's me and Kaisha talked about that when we was yeah, me and Kai, we talked about that. And the cool part about it is Tesla has one at the parking garage I work with, and they haven't even supplied proper signage for the people to know where it is. And so they're always asking us, where are the Tesla chargers? They should have signage. They should pay for signage to direct the person to the where they're at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure coming because like
that's a good idea though, sis.
Being built along the highway. Any new gas station that pops up along a specific interstate or highway, I've been noticing that a good percentage of them are being built with the charging stations. If that shit's off the highway, they're already throwing that in the mix to begin with.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
You have to cater to that crowd. The more
Mm-hmm.
those cars become relevant, of course, they need them everywhere. I think that's the biggest thing that people were saying is that they have to have their own charging stations at home because right now there's not enough of them everywhere.
No.
You know, you have to try to
I have my own
estimate.
charger for my car.
Yeah. Did you have to pay additional fees
No,
to
I
get
can't.
that? It came with it.
Yeah, I think another question people was having is how the charging would impact your electric bill if it was any significant difference or not. You know, that was one of the questions that people was asking also.
How much does it cost for them to charge their car?
What do you mean?
To plug your Tesla in, does it cost?
Oh, you mean at a charging station? I wouldn't know. I see them and
It's
that's
free
it.
if you got a Tesla.
Oh, okay.
But if you don't have a Tesla, like for you to go charge your car, how much does it cost you?
I'm not sure. It probably ain't too much. They got like monthly fees, or like it's like how every other app is nowadays.
Subscription.
You do the app and that's that.
Okay.
I never even paid attention because we have two different charging ports at the job, and Teslas are separate for Teslas only, even though other Teslas park at that upper one. But yeah, that's where the people who have the Mustangs or the Cobalts or whatever other charging cars that there's out there right now, the Equinox or all that shit. But yeah, I was curious how much it costs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and another thing that if we just said something else without off the top of our head, creating an app that we know people are going to utilize is another way to create and generate revenue as a family. If we were to come up with an
Well,
app.
you know what? We need to quit talking about it on air because we're giving somebody an idea. Because I'll tell you this much: that's how my idea for my shoe, for the shoe, got taken over, and so now somebody's making money off of my shoe idea.
Oh, okay. We'll stop talking about it on air.
Got it. Will do.
Damn you, Kanye. You just stole my sister's shoe out.
It wasn't Kanye. It was
Oh shit.
Zappos.
Whew,
Man.
yee.
Okay.
Okay, he's laughing. I'm serious.
Gotta love this food, man. I gotta love it.
Mike, you remember when I was talking to them motherfuckers? I mean,
I told you then to do it. And my feet want to kick you right now for not
So
doing it.
here's the thing. We got to understand what we're inclined toward, what we're good at, what's our strong suits, what's our weaknesses when we're talking about putting these kind of things together. And the people, when the people that have professed that they are strong in any area that might be needed for a particular project, you gotta come sit at the head of the table on this project, because we, the family, need you to do shit like that. So
Absolutely.
I think when your number's called, you got to be ready to run the play. You know.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys another idea that somebody heard of mine.
I thought we weren't talking about them on air.
No, but this is already on the market. You know how they wear the goggles and you can see different shit?
The Oculus.
Well, yeah. Well, I was saying instead of holding your phone up, you could just be having on these glasses and seeing your phone and interacting your phone while we're looking through your glasses. And basically that's not what that is, but that's somewhat of that idea. And that came about after I said that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hence the adage, don't talk about it, be about it. Don't conversate, right. Demonstrate. There's value to that, you know.
Right. And I think that's one of the things that Diesel is really kind of gets frustrated with the group as a whole about is that the family being able to do that.
Yeah, because I was gone for 10 years. Trust me, if I'd have been out here, I'd have have 1 million followers on my social media.
Get your business plan together. Get a business plan together, and you orchestrate it.
No, I missed the wave, so there's a reason why it's hard for me to figure it out, because I missed the wave. But if I'd have been out here for that wave, I wouldn't have missed that.
Get the business plan together on something that's upcoming right now. Get your business plan together and present it.
It's now. It's as far as the family business goes, niggas is in their 50s damn near. You know, we all gonna be in our 50s. I mean, how long?
That doesn't mean our work ethic is over with, because there's people who still work at 70.
Stop. You can't when somebody's in the middle of the expression. You can't.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right. We old enough now at the point to where this shit is a sense of motherfucking urgency. We don't got no more tomorrows and putting shit off for a couple more decade. We ain't got that no more. We old as fuck. We got to figure it out now. And that's the reason why I brought up the McDonald's and all that shit, because these motherfuckers are coming for our jobs in America. They're not fucking playing.
We know that. We're not doubting that. You know, only thing I was saying is this isn't. We all, before you put that up there, we know about this. So the only question is, what's the solution? How do we overcome the obstacle? Not even about whether or not it's happening.
I've already been talking to franchises. Technically, I can do it all by my goddamn self.
Okay. Well, okay.
No, there is no. Yeah, you got me fucked up.
Okay. I don't. I'm just saying though. I'm just saying.
In her face, she made.
I was just being funny. Golly.
So
that's why I said get your business plan together, bruh.
The business plan is already fucking together.
You got it wrote down?
Who got to? Man, I'm old school. Motherfucker, Frank Lucas ain't wrote nothing down.
Fuck Frank Lucas.
John Gotti ain't wrote that shit down. Barry Gordy didn't write nothing down.
You gotta have a business plan.
Man, that shit is up here, man. I learned from a motherfucker one time. in jail, and he said the way you learn your business plan is to say it over and 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 over again. You don't need no damn paper. You don't need no
And
If you get the right amount of overs.
yeah.
well, you know, that's why I sent you that Marshawn Lynch that one time, because he was like, and over and over and
Right.
over. And he just reminded me of Jabal. I was like,
You gotta have the right amount of
okay,
overs.
with the and over and over and over and I was like, we get it. Like, we get it. You're gonna do it.
What did you guys just say before we went on the air? You want to mess with you want Fizz on the cool what when he had the purple afro? What were you guys talking about?
Have you ever had the dreams where
You crazy as hell, man.
we can't do that, Saab? That's why that was a off-air conversation.
Right. There was
Shit.
names have to be protected to
Man,
Golly.
I have to say the name, but that shit was funny.
man, you know what I'm saying?
That shit was hilarious.
Yeah, but the names can't be said on the podcast.
Hey, look, some of the
Yeah.
incidents can't even be said. It'd be like, I know ain't another nigga in the world did that. They talking about me, you know.
Well, you know what? Fuck that. You need to capitalize on that funny shit.
Oh man,
Hey, we
yeah,
already
but we ain't gonna
talked
do
about
it
it.
here is the point. You
We already
know?
talked about it.
You, Jabal, you can remember all that shit. Both of y'all remember all that shit.
He said he was down already. So
Yeah,
Well, y'all need to really start getting that shit together.
yeah.
Cause that's some comedy. That's some comedy right there.
Hey, look,
That would have a motherfucker on fire.
that
For
nigga
all
Chris
this
Rock
OD.
think Everybody Hates Chris was funny.
For
Yeah.
all of this, OD, what I was trying to say, I wasn't saying you wasn't ready. I wasn't saying you can't do it. I'm saying this is what I meant when I said when your number's called, run the fucking play. If you're the only person that is in a credit standing to make some shit happen, quit badgering us and lead by fucking example.
Yeah, because my credit's not good.
Your number is being called. Run the play.
No.
You the big boss.
and everybody can
Because the
fall
reason
in
why
line,
that
you
can't
know what I mean?
happen, the reason why that can't happen is because somebody's gonna have to run the business. Yes, I can purchase it and do all that shit and get all that, but I can't quit my job though.
You gotta start small. It becomes big.
Well, when it comes to the numbers side of a business, I think that there's a couple of people in the family who know how to the logistics behind that part of it. And the more I grow, the more I learn on daily numbers and getting that kind of stuff together and what it takes. So again, it just is up to everybody doing what they're good at, everybody playing their part in order to make it take off. You know, we kind of skipped through the family part, so I just want to say again, you know, how important family is, and that's where our future and where our legacy lies. We're Four Corners legacy, we're Mama's legacy, trying to make things happen, and we need to start trying to be the blueprint for those that are behind or underneath us.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah, I think I mean, we might not have touched on certain aspects of the family conversation, but I think the business part of it is definitely a relevant part, you know, because that's part of that legacy building that you're talking about, you know. There's got to be some sort of business aspect to it, you know. And of course, you know, we know that there's some of us in the family that have had smaller business ventures that are on an individual level. So clearly we got enough experience to take on a bigger task now. Yeah.
I think it could be done because there's so many of us and everybody's got a talent. So I see
Here's
it.
how they're gonna ask you about your net worth, the things you own, whether you own a property, you can use home equity loans to pay for the startup costs, all this type of shit, right? But the thing is you have to be able to operate. You have to have enough. What is it? Free capital or something they call fluid capital or something they call it fluid liquid capital or some shit like that. But yeah,
Mhm.
basically you got to have the money to keep it afloat for the time being. So like I said, a motherfucker could jump out there and do it, but uh, there's I don't know. It's easier to do something that everybody can kind of like get involved in. That way, everybody don't have nobody's making a. If it goes down, I lose everything. Sacrifice.
Well, I mean, if the business is structured the right way, that wouldn't be the case anyway. That's the purpose of having a LLC, and then there's different tax designations that can be made during the formation of your LLC, whether it be a S corporation or I think there's a C corporation, shit like that will prevent it from an individual from taking a personal loss. On top of that, I think if a person has a strong enough credit standing and you're doing a franchise into something that's a proven business, then you can use your credit situation to get you a line of credit, or you can kind of leverage the profits of this business according to the model, because it's not a new type of franchise. You can leverage that to get you a loan to cover the liquid capital that you have to have. There's ways to get over the hump, is what I'm saying.
And you know what? I think that's what our next show should be based on, is we really do our homework this week on financial literacy of programs and things that can help get us started up. We all need to know all of this.
It's kind of like a step-by-step thing. And that's why it's frustrating to me, because it's literally something that you can do step by step. It's not like you have to figure it all out before you can do step one.
But you still got to know things, though.
No.
Well, just like we jumped out
Step by
and
step.
we talked about Four Corners, I believe, on a Sunday. By the following Sunday, we were on air. So I think that if we have that same ability or the same effort, apply that to businesses and just do it and watch it grow. Everybody can bring something to the table. The fact that we're even talking about it, it's gonna happen. It already exists in all of us. The desire is there.
Mm-hmm.
It's been put out into the atmosphere, so it only can manifest into good if we continue to talk about it.
I know you motherfuckers is as tired of working as me.
Right.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, and let's be clear, the work won't be over. It'll be just beginning.
And it might be amplified.
The motherfucker ain't gonna be carrying couches and bricks, and a motherfucker ain't gonna be doing none of that shit.
Right, right. No, and I won't mind coming to work as much if I know I'm building my family's legacy. When I go to work right now, I know I'm building their legacy.
And actually making some money. That's the key.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually be comfortable in your old years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So then, I mean, are we stamping that in?
We're stamping that in, man. I think we need to do something ASAP. I'm talking about so ASAP.
I mean,
stamping it in as a topic.
Right, for next week's show.
Absolutely. Yeah, everybody bring something to the table about startup businesses, about family businesses, about how to start an LLC, how to draw up a business plan. Certain businesses that are peaking.
We're past that. We're fucking old. We know how to do all that.
Okay, but it's not just us four. This is a podcast that's sent out to the public. The topics in the show and how it's discussed is not only for us. So I still think that's a proper approach, the proper way to approach it. Damn, I just forgot what I was about to do now. Yeah, so I'm with that. With that being next week's topic, if as long as everybody else is with it.
Yeah. Business.
City Limits is with it. Sac City limits.
I hear you guys. I had to use the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Excuse me, I just got to
I
take
hear
it.
you would have sufficed. Well, the more
Exactly.
sufficed. Oh my goodness.
Talk about raw and uncut. That's what we are.
Off to Chiselton.
Okay. I'm back.
All in favor, say aye.
So we're saying aye to. I can hear you faintly from the bathroom.
We were just in agreement that next week's topic, we can jump in and talk a little bit about businesses, what it takes to start a business, learning the initial steps, the groundwork, not just for our own family business, but just for knowledge to share with our viewers and get their input. We talked about wanting to do a financial literacy show. I'm not sure if you guys want to spin
I mean, I
this
think
all
it's all
on.
the same thing, though. Business is financial literacy, so
Yeah,
it's all under the same umbrella.
yeah. So we could do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be a great show.
Yeah. Okay. So then that's what it is. Then,
Hold on, I'm putting the message in the chat.
if you think of anybody that you even almost think might be interested in joining the show and having some sort of meaningful input to give them a shout, within the next 48 hours so that they have time up ahead to prepare whatever it is they want to do and align their schedule with ours if need be. So
yeah, I got a couple of people that I'm gonna ask.
Okay.
Is there a cap on how many people we can have on our show?
Well, there's a maximum of 10 seats. We occupy 4 already, so we can get 6 other people in here at one time.
That's plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. Love that idea.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess it's fair to say that does it for today's show.
It does.
Was there anything anybody wanted to say in closing?
I do want to say something in closing. If you could, you Valley, drop the name of the business or excuse me, the community service programs that we're going to, if we could shout those out one more time. And Tusav, if you could shout out the one that you had looked up just to close out on some information for people who were watching maybe in the community. And I will also take note of that so we could share that information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me type that in.
Man.
It's the Greater Sacramento Economic Council.
Come here. All right, come here. All right, so before we close out, I got a special guest today.
What's up, Breon?
What's up, boy?
Hey, Bree.
Yeah.
Emoji.
Say hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
All right, so we see Advance Peace and Black Child Legacy Campaign is one.
Well, that's actually 2. The 2 that
Okay.
Yeah.
Advance Peace and the Black Child Legacy Campaign are 2 different outlets that are in the greater Sacramento area if you're interested in trying those out.
Yeah. So again, we appreciate everybody for tuning in, and we're looking forward to another episode next week where we're going to tackle financial literacy and business and business growth, all that kind of thing. So we look forward to seeing y'all there, and hopefully we'll be able to get a few of y'all to join us on the panel.
Absolutely. Thank you all for tuning in.
Okay. All right. Next week.
Deuces.